Hi friends, hello, welcome back. Today I figured we could sit together, have a good cup of something. I'm having a cup of coffee. I hope you're enjoying your favorite beverage while we talk about my anticipated reads for January. Now, am I filming this in the second last week of January? Perhaps I am, but I figured now is better than ever. So I figured we could sit together, talk about the books that I am very excited for to come out this month, because there was quite a few, which I was very surprised by, like a whole long list. There are some caveats that I want to mention. First of all, is that I have the UK pub date. If the US pub date is different and the South African pub date is different, just take note. There are some that I have mentioned the South African pub date just because of the relevance, but otherwise it's the UK pub date. For South Africans, you can expect these about a month or 2 months after release, depending on which half of the month it's in. And for the rest of the world, you'll just have to do a good old Googling. I hope you have your cuppa. If not, now's a good time to pause before we jump straight on into it. As I said, there is a whole list. In fact, I have printed out the script. I'm very proud of myself. I've prepared for this, just in case you were curious. I really like talking about anticipated releases. Anticipated releases not only fill up my TBR for the year, but it also just keeps me in check of what is coming, what has come, especially when it comes to second books and third books in a series, or the continuation of a series, should I rather say. This just keeps me in check of that and make sure that I am on the ball, because sometimes I'll see a third book in the series and I had the first one sitting on my shelf and I have not read it. So it's a little bit of like a perspective thing, and on the other hand, it also just gets me excited for all the things that are to come this year, because if January starts off this good, I can just imagine how the rest of the year will go, especially because in the UK and in the US, the summer months tend to be the prime books. So these are really good. Then I know that the summer / our winter in South Africa will be just superb. So we're going to start off with a book that technically came out on the 6th of November in the UK, but has only made its way to South Africa in January, and that is Unbound, Confidence Academy Book 1 by Penelope Bloom. This is a book filled with elemental magic, military academy, deadly trials, forbidden romance, and the most sarcastic ancient water dragon companion. I think those words are pretty much all I needed to know, but in case you were curious, this book also has a delicious slow burn romance, as dangerous as the magic, a final line that readers are saying will haunt you for weeks, and an ending that will have you itching to get your hands on book 2. And honestly, that is what I need to know. That is all I need to know about a book. I don't need to know the characters, I just need to know that it's a book that makes me want to keep reading through to the second, the third, the fourth, who knows how many books are in this series. But it sounds really cool. I really enjoy like a military academy. I feel like that's really popped up since last year, and I suspect we'll see a lot more books with an academic / military setting. Then a book that came out on the 1st of January is A War of Wyverns, which is book 2 in A Language of Dragons by S.F. Williamson. This is the extraordinary sequel to the #1 Sunday Times bestseller, A Language of Dragons. I read this last year in the beginning of the year, and it was phenomenal. It is described as an epic, sweeping, and unputdownable fantasy. I'm really excited to see how the story continues. This is one book where I'm already on top of the series. I just need to get my hand on book 2 and then we'll be sorted. I'm really excited. I think that this was a fantastic YA fantasy for readers who still want a little bit of angst, a little bit of mystery, and you know, some moral dilemma without it being adult. I definitely love the way the author did this. I thought it was fantastic. It was a good solid 4-star read for me, and I look forward to seeing what this book entails. The next book came out on the 8th of January, and that is none other than The Swan's Daughter by Roshani Chokshi, and this is a sweeping new fantasy standalone. I feel like we have a lot of series that are coming out this year and continuations, but not a lot of standalones per se, but it brims with cursed love. I love the story of Barbie and the Swan Lake. I don't know if it's related, but no, I love that movie, and therefore I think I will love this. This is the lush story of the swan and the prince who shared a forged desire to become something more to themselves and to each other. The tropes of fairy tale, which makes me think it does have that Barbie and the Swan Lake feel. Ballroom dancing, enchantments and spells, star-crossed romance, and close proximity, which is a vice of mine. On the same day, we also have Rings of Fate, the first book in the Curses and Crowns series by Melissa de la Cruz. I'm actually currently reading this, so I'm already on the ball. I feel really great about that. But this is a story about a barmaid who doesn't believe in any fairy tales, and he is a prince who's cursed to live one. Perfect for readers who love the wit of The Princess Bride and the adventure of classic fantasy quests and romances that balance danger and delicious banter. I will say that's very much true so far. So this is a book that is exactly as it's being sold. I'm not very far in. I'm very far in. I'm about 70% of the way through, and so far it's living up to the expectations provided by the synopsis. On the 13th of January, A Vow in Vengeance by Jacqueline Rodriguez came out, and this is a daily tarot. I love the theme of tarot coming through, so if you have any other recommendations about tarot-based books, let me know down below in the comments, because that is something that I want to sort of do a thematic video about. It has deadly tarot, wicked schemes, dangerous alliances, and can you survive the forge? Sexy, action-packed, and brimming with magic, A Vow in Vengeance is an unputdownable romantasy debut. I've heard nothing but great things about this from the early reviews, and I think this is going to be one for the books, quite literally. Tropes in this is enemies to lovers, dark academia, fake fated mates, haven't seen that one before, forced proximity, snark and banter, touch her and die, as well as tarot, as I mentioned before. All of those tropes are like top tier tropes for me in a lot of ways, so I really look forward to reading this one as soon as I possibly can, because fun fact, I do in fact have an e-arc of this. This is not a surprise to anyone that I'm terrible at keeping up with new releases. On the 20th of January, I'm really excited. That is tomorrow for me, and hopefully tomorrow for you too, if I do this right. Next Level Love by Shamiz Patel will come out. Shamiz Patel is a local South African romance author as well as fantasy author, and this is her next romance novel that features games and gaming, which, if you know anything about me, literally up my alley, so I'm really excited. When two people find out their online crushes are actually their IRL enemies, they must figure out a way to work with each other in this charming, geeky, enemies to lovers rom-com. And honestly, I'm here for it because, as mentioned, I'm very much in that realm of gaming, being geeky, and obviously being a little bit nerdy with books. So I think this is just going to hit all the right notes for me. The next book that's also coming out on the 20th of January is The Poet Empress by Shen Tao. This is sort of compared to the Poppy War. So if you know anything about me, I love the Poppy War, hands down. One of the best fantasy books I've read in a while, and this is To Kill a Monster She Must Become One. The epic political arena of the Poppy War by R.F. Kuang meets the intimate tragedy and luscious language of the Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. In the sensational debut by visionary talent Shen Tao, admissible for die-hard genre fans as well as readers of literary fiction looking to make their first foray into fantasy. So this sounds like a great entry into fantasy. My guess is if you are looking to join the fantasy readers out there this year, this is definitely the book to do it with. It just sounds fabulous. The cover to die for and stunning, and I just cannot wait to get my hands on a physical copy and to read this because I think it's going to be right up my alley. On the 27th of January, now we're definitely pushing towards the end of the month, the next book I'm excited for is The Wolf and the Crown of Blood, which is the first book in the Broken Accord series by Elizabeth May. Elizabeth May might sound familiar. She recently re-released the Falconer series in an adult sort of format. Books were previously categorized as YA. She rewrote the books and has now republished them as adult. So the content is more new adult, has a little bit more of a mature tone to it, as well as some more mature scenes. But I'm really excited for this one. This is a brand new series that is inspired by Beauty and the Beast and Eros and Psyche. This dark, seductive tale is perfect for fans of Raven Kennedy's Plated Prisoner series, which I still need to finish that, but that series, phenomenal. With the wit and spice of Callie Hart's Quicksilver, one that is still on my TBR surprisingly, packed with dark fairy tale vibes, gothic romance, and tropes like enemies to lovers, forced proximity. My advices are coming in. Death packs and villain gets the girl. This is a story where love is as deadly as it is irresistible. Featuring a dark fairy tale atmosphere, I'm in. Enemies to lovers, I'm extra in. Villain gets the girl. I haven't read many of these, so if you do have recommendations, please let me know down below. And Beauty and the Beast vibes. Then the last book that I'm really excited for in January, which comes out on the 29th, is Catch Her If You Can, which is book 5 in the Big Shot series by Tessa Bailey. I have been following the series since Fangirl Down came out, what I feel like is so long ago. But I've been following it, and I really am enjoying the world, and I enjoy the companionship, because like each book is a standalone, but sort of is a companion to the world, and I really am excited to see this, which is an all-new marriage of convenience, friends to lovers, sports romance about a baseball catcher and the burlesque club owner he can't get out of his head. These all just sound so incredible. Let me know what you're excited for January and for February, so I can start compiling that list and get it out to you as soon as possible, because let me tell you, February is another full month of fantastic releases that I just can't wait to share with you. Also, let me know if you have seen any books on here that you haven't heard of before, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye!